Hello Tankerverdi, this is Mr. Gaines, and this is part 2 of our States of Matter lab. So here's what's going to happen. If you haven't seen part 1, go back and watch part 1. You need to do that first. Do this experiment. If you don't have these materials at your house, that's okay. You can watch and see and still try to construct an explanation of the science that's going on. But let me recap. Inside this bag, I have warm water, I have vinegar, and inside this coffee filter, I have a tablespoon of baking soda. I'm going to drop the baking soda packet inside the bag. I'm going to seal the bag closed, and I'm going to put it in here and watch to see what happens. So here I go. Seal the bag tight, and let's watch to see what happens. It's getting bigger and bigger, and pop. All right, so the air pressure causes this to pop. So let's talk about some of the science that's happening in here. I have several, oh, look at that. It tore the bag open. That's actually kind of cool. I thought it was going to pop up here at the top. I guess I sealed it very tightly. So I have all 3 states of matter here. I have a solid. The baking soda is a solid. I have a liquid. The water and the vinegar were both liquids. But I created a gas. When I have states of matter, you can think about this in forms of heat, energy, and motion. Heat is a form of energy, and energy causes the molecules to move. So when I have low heat, think of water. When it's very cold, it turns to ice. So if it's below 0 degrees Celsius, water, the molecules slow down, they stop moving, and they form a solid. They turn to ice. As they're affected by the temperature, the molecules start to move, they turn to a liquid, and they require more space. If I have with gases, I actually have a lot more motion, and they take up a lot more space. So in this experiment, what I actually did was, I used all 3 states of matter. I had a solid and liquid. They had a chemical reaction, and one sign of a chemical reaction is when I have bubbles. Bubbles means I'm forming a gas, and the formation of a gas is a good sign that a chemical reaction is occurring. So as the gas formed, it needed more and more and more and more space until it finally popped open and burst. There's another interesting thing to know about this experiment. So let me set up for the next part, because there's something really cool about this I want you to see. All right. So a lot of times when we look at that experiment where the bag explodes, we tend to think there's more stuff. But really, there's not more stuff. I just changed the state of matter, and it required more space, or it took up more volume. So I have another demonstration with that very same chemical reaction. I have vinegar in the test tube. I have a balloon. And in here I have baking soda. And if you look at the scale right now, I think I am 190 grams. I am going to initiate the chemical reaction by taking the bottom of the balloon and dumping the baking soda in. We should see the formation of a gas, and the balloon will expand. And then we're going to check the scale again to see if we had more, less, or the same amount of mass. Before I do that, I want you to make a prediction. What do you think will happen? I'm forming a gas. It's going to take up more space. Do you think it's going to weigh the same? Do you think it'll weigh less? Do you think it'll weigh more? Will I have more mass or less mass? Well, let's find out. I'm going to take this. I'm going to dump it upside down. Put the baking soda in. I'm blowing up the balloon so I can see my gas is forming. I see the bubbles. You see the bubbles forming. And let's look at the scale. I have still 190 grams. So matter's not being created or destroyed or even changing, but the volume is changing. The gas requires more space. Now, I wonder what kind of gas this is. I'm going to pinch the balloon and see if I can capture the gas. All right, I have a gas here. I'm going to get a candle. I'm going to light my candle. Now, one interesting thing to note, a candle, all fire, requires oxygen to burn. I have a gas in here. I'm going to put the gas in the beaker. Slide this to the side. I'm going to pour the beaker onto the fire, and the fire went out. The reason the fire went out is because the gas that was formed in this reaction is carbon dioxide. You've done this before, whether you know it or not. When you blow out a birthday candle, or any candle for an instance, when you blow, what you did was you pushed away the oxygen that the fire needed and replaced it from carbon dioxide. If you breathe in with me, and then breathe out, you breathe in oxygen, you breathe out carbon dioxide. So the gas that was formed in this relationship was carbon dioxide. So my three states of matter: baking soda is a solid, water and vinegar are liquids, and the gas that we formed today is carbon dioxide. I hope you had fun with this experiment. Thanks, Tankerverde. We'll see you next week.